Good morning, everyone. Shubhodaya and Namaste. Before I hand over this mic to my dear friend Ravi, I have few housekeeping tips which I would like to tell you. That we are on live on YouTube. We had over 590 registration, and but we have a capacity to accommodate only 500 in this webinar. So rest are logged in through YouTube. And if you have any questions, there is a tab here down the line. There is a Q&A. So you can post this question. So I will be saving those questions. So very selective questions can be put across to Dr. Vikram Singh, and he will try his best to answer to your questions. And we are also live on Facebook and LinkedIn. Without much time, I hand over this mic to Ravi. Ravi, over to you. Thank you.
A very good morning to all the participants of the webinar on the topic Conquer the Challenge of Change. My name is Ravi Shankar Tandavan. I am into the business of entrance automation and also a sales and marketing consultant. I'm a good friend to Dominic and an ardent fan of Dr. Vikram Singh. I thank Blue and Grey for creating this platform and must also congratulate each one of you for seizing this opportunity to learn just a little more on how to handle change. For those of you who are eagerly waiting to know more about Dr. Vikram Singh, he is Chancellor, Noida International University and a retired IPS officer. He joined the Indian Police Service in 1974 and held the post of the Director General of Police in the state of Uttar Pradesh from 2007 to 2009. Incidentally, the UP Police Force is said to be the largest state police force in the world, consisting of over 1.9 lakh personnel. Dr. Vikram Singh retired from the police service in May 2010, where he had an illustrious career and was popularly known for his honesty, uprightness, dedication, and leadership. He was one who introduced the use of technology in policing. He also mentored not just a generation of police officers, but also administrative officers, students from IITs, IIMs, and a host of other premier educational institutions from the country. As per the Limca Book of Records 2014, Dr. Singh is the most highly decorated IPS officer. He's been awarded with President's Police Medal for Gallantry, BAR to President's Police Medal for Gallantry. BAR here stands for the second time when a person is being honored for the same service. So BAR to President's Police Medal for Gallantry, Indian Police Medal for Gallantry, BAR to Indian Police Medal for Gallantry, President's Police Medal for Distinguished Services, Indian Police Medal for Long and Meritorious Services, Kathin Seva Medal, and BAR to Kathin Seva Medal. Dr. Singh is also a writer and has authored two books, one entitled Ecosystems of the Central Himalayas, and the other one on human rights and police, which is a National Human Rights Commission award winner. I've had the good fortune to listen to Dr. Singh a couple of times, and he's, by the way, a star speaker on vital issues related to security, man management, crisis resolution, team building, etc. Those of you who watch television news would certainly have heard him speak and present his points with crystal clear clarity and sense. Blue and Grey chose Dr. Vikram Singh and the subject, for it is never too late to refresh ourselves on how to conquer the challenge of change. My name is Ravi Shankar Tandavan, and I'm delighted to hand over Dr. Vikram Singh for his enlightening insights on how to conquer the challenge of change. Over to you, Dr. Singh.
Thank you ever so much, Mr. Ravi Shankar, my dear Dominic, distinguished participants, Blue and Grey, for providing me this wonderful and vibrant platform to exchange ideas. I am the biggest gainer in this interaction, to interact with such wonderful audience, people who have an experience of a lifetime, Mr. Ravi Shankar ji, Mr. Dominic. But yes, I have perhaps seen more of the world than most of those in the audience, because I presume all of you are youngsters. And therefore, it's my duty to tell you from my experience what I see in the NCR, what I see in the state capital, what I see in the metropolitan towns. There are lessons, and there are real lessons from first-hand and hands-on experience, which I presume at my station of life should be treated as my dying declaration. In the sense that what I would tell my children, I would be telling you. Of course, we will go into the nitty-gritty and smaller things also, what we should eat, but more importantly, what is eating you. But that is, of course, during the course of our interaction. Mr. Ravi Shankar very clearly mentioned that change is the only constant. Change is universal. Change, perhaps the rate of change and the manner in which things are changing, that is so spectacular. Charles Darwin once mentioned survival of the fittest. And in that period of time, the definition of fittest would have changed. The fittest would mean, at a given point of time, the wisest, survival of the wisest. That wisest can be translated today into change friendly. Survival of the most change friendly. Because if I say no to change, I become a Rip Van Winkle. I become a dinosaur. I become a museum specimen then and there, and invite my Kodak moment immediately. I quote the recipe of disaster when I say no to change. And I will tell you how those industries, those iconic industries, had their Kodak moments because they were oblivious of the changes happening around. And those who said yes to change, those who anticipated change, those who expected change, were the ultimate winners. There are things that are in our hands, and there are things that are not in our hands. And the things that are not in our hands, they are the things that we need to cater for as a contingency plan, as an emergency plans. Yesterday's world records are today's entry levels. Things are moving so fast that we really have to run to stay still. The code of mediocrity died long ago. Mediocrity is synonymous to something that is horrible and awful. In 1965, I passed class 10 and I got 68% marks, and my name was put on the brass plaque of the principal's college. My father distributed sweets to the entire village that my son has got 68% and has got distinction in 4 subjects. Today at 68%, I don't give any premium to marks at all, but see where the situation is. If a child gets 68% marks, the parents would not be delighted. In fact, some parents would require some kind of an assistance. That it's not the child's fault to get 68%, but 68% today, as the perception goes, perhaps does not take the child very far. Although I do not agree with markings or the marks at all, there is a thing known as late blossoming, there is a thing known as handling. Our children, percentages do not matter. I feel the child has to be a good human being in the first place. What worked yesterday will not work today. We have seen in our own careers, yesterday leaders were warriors, today leaders are facilitators. Yesterday natural resources decided power. Today knowledge is power. Yesterday leaders commanded and controlled. Today leaders empower and coach. Yesterday leaders demanded respect. Today leaders encourage self-respect. Yesterday value was extra. Today value is everything. Yesterday profits were earned through expediency. Today profits are earned through integrity. No longer can any one of us have the satisfaction that when we are going or driving to our office, the organization or the government is going to look after us for the next 36 years, because we may be going as a senior police officer, a senior administrative officer, a senior manager in a multinational, but we have to prove our worth on a regular basis, because it is today that we are subjected to our viability and our tests. Every moment and every day we have to be viable. So what are the solutions? I can tell you that there are important tests, important lessons from every organization. My own department in the police, which I served for more than 36 years, was one organization that resisted change. Nothing changed in the police for almost 150 years. Our laws date back to 1861, thanks to Lord Macaulay and others. Our weaponry was of the vintage of Second World War. Go to any police station almost 20 years ago, and the only thing that you would get by way of technology was a crime kit box, a Second World War wireless set, and of course, the proverbial lathi, the indigenous lie detector, as it is known as in the police parlance. That was the only technology that was known. But the crime and the situation was such that innovation and changes were not welcome. I dare say, even at the risk of being censured, that ladies were not welcome. Till the arrival in the IPS of Madam Kiran Bedi, who was a game changer, Madam Kanchan Chaudhary, and over a period of time today, we can proudly proclaim that ladies are no less to the contrary. They have an edge over their male colleagues and counterparts. They have proven to be, by way of, without any exception, to be superior police officers than their male colleagues. What we hard-boiled police officers could not do, the ladies were able to accomplish that in much lesser time and much lesser resources. The criticism was adverse. The criticism was uncalled for. The criticism was unfair. Whereas the technology was just restricted to an old wireless set, a lathi, and a crime kit box, today in the ATS, Anti-Terrorist Force, and the Special Task Force, we have officers, men and women, the brightest men and women from IIMs and IITs who are BTechs and MTechs, and you have the futuristic technology that is behind the police successes in this country. My generation, I was an ideal police officer when I joined the IPS in 1974, because I could do 200 push-ups. I could bend an iron rod. With the same qualification, I would be lucky even if I get an entry as a constable or even a chaprasi in the police department, because everything has become cerebral. Everything has become and assigned directly in proportion to the gray cells and the gray matter. Similarly, in the police, I can say that there is an importance of horse riding and bronze, but there is a greater premium on the cerebral aspects of policing. I will give you a small example. You must have seen films, you must have heard of the banditry in the Chambal ravines, the films made on the banditry of the likes of Madho Singh, Mohar Singh, Sultana, Phulan Devi, Malkhan Singh, Tehsildar Singh, and the 200 years of banditry translated into what? What was the turnover? Any guesses? Not more than 25 crores. Then came the age of specialized crime. You must have heard of Abdul Karim Telgi scam. 50,000 crores. Then came the 2G scam, 1 lakh crores, or maybe even more than that. Then the coal scam, multi-lakh crores. And then you had scam after scam after scam after scam. So the policing had to be taken to a different level. It had to be technology oriented. And even in the police department, it is said that in my entire career, I did not write doctor or prefix doctor before my name, because it is said that a person who is has a master's degree, the perception was there, or a PhD is perhaps overqualified for the police and perhaps a misfit in the police. But today, when you have in the CBI, in the Special Task Force, in the anti-terrorist outfit, you have deputationists from the Indian Revenue Service, the chartered accountants, the IT experts, the forensic experts, the ballistic experts. You have the best brains of the country coming on deputation to help, because investigation is not simple any longer. There was a saying in 1970s when I joined service that if you want to be a good police officer, you have to be half human and half butcher. It's a matter of tremendous satisfaction that those things are now a thing of the past, and nobody even who subscribes or looks at this definition again would have any place in the police department. A police officer is expected to be humane, is supposed to be a father and a mother figure rolled into one, have a high spiritual content in his bearing and his dealings. He has to be as frugal as a church mouse. He has to have the eye of an eagle and the reflexes of a tiger. That is what the ingredients of an ideal police officer would be. Just raw muscular strength will not make him a good police officer. And being brutal certainly does not serve the purpose at all. In spite of the films like Singham and Dabangam and whatnot, they will not make him a good police officer. The entire purpose of laying all these facts and statistics before you is that a cloistered and a closed organization like the police department also had to amend, had to change, and had to bring in laws. After the Nirbhaya case, we had the 13th Criminal Law Amendment Act. Why? We had to amend the archaic laws, the Evidence Act, the Indian Penal Code, the Criminal Procedure Code, and the Evidence Act. There were provisions that were made that the prosecutrix or the rape survivor will not be called to the police station. She will not be questioned by a male police officer. The proceedings will be in camera. There will be fast track courts. There will be lady judges. There will be lady prosecutors, so that the dignity of the survivor is preserved and there is no compromise as far as dignity and privacy are concerned. These are the changes that were imperative. And when I talk of the police, I talk of every such department. The subculture of the police is said that it was very feudal. The subculture of the police and almost all the government departments was very feudal. We had a DGP by the name of late Mr. T.P. Bhalla, a very illustrious police officer of the British times, of the Imperial Police, and he used to say, Upar Allah, Niche Bhalla. That is all you need to know about good policing. Today it is not possible. In those times, I remember, even as a DIG, when I would go to my DG's office, DIGs and IGs, you could not take the liberty of pulling up a chair and sitting down. DIGs, etc., were never offered a chair in the DG's office. And today you'd be happy to know that in the Special Task Force, in the ATS, our constables at times are more highly educated than even the IPS officers. The constables are given a seat of chair and a place of utmost respect and pride in their offices. There is no caste system in the police any longer, and I think this is most welcome. This is the change. Respect learning, respect knowledge. It does not come through rank. Ranks come and ranks go. But a person who has made a mark because of his learning, his contribution to policing or to the organization, should be getting the utmost respect wherever he is or she is. Similarly, when we talk in the corporate world, there is so much that is changing everywhere. We did not have email accounts 20 years ago. We did not have Facebook accounts. But today it is impossible to think any person who does not have a Facebook account or an email account. Technology has taken us to a level that a peak of quality can be manufactured anywhere. And who does the future belong to? The future belongs to those who have higher personal and professional standards, who have higher personal and professional standards and who run the extra mile. Why do I say the extra mile? Because as I said before, and I reiterate, the age of mediocrity is long over. No longer will any institution or organization will take up a person who is a mediocre. Then what is the way forward? I will tell you how best to handle change, be the best you are. And these are time-tested formulae. I'll give you from the Sanskrit text, and I can say if it is in Sanskrit, then it has to be thousands of years ago when they said, who can be an all-time winner? What are the ingredients of an all-time winner? What are the ingredients of a world-class championship material? Since no translation can do justice to the original, first I will repeat in Sanskrit just about 15 seconds, and then I'll translate into English. Utsah sampanne adirg sutram kriya vididyam vesane asaktam shuram dridam kritagyam lakshmi sada nivasate. Now I will translate it. One who is enthusiastic, utsah sampanne, adirg sutram, one who is professionally competent. Vyasane asaktam, one who is not addicted to psychotropic things and alcohol and other addictive things. Shuram, he is brave. Dridam, who is firm and steadfast and is not a rolling stone, who does not nibble at things. Dridam, kritagyam, who is grateful to the Lord, who is grateful to his friends and associates, who is grateful to his organizer. And if these ingredients are there in a person, in an officer, in any employee, rest assured, as the shloka says, goddess of wealth, Lakshmi, will come personally and ask for the PAN number and the bank account. These are the ingredients of success that were enumerated thousands of years ago. Now, summing it up, these are troubled times, and this is the biggest lockdown of humanity that in recorded history. There is no recorded history of such a lockdown, and it calls for the best qualities. It is said that the COVID-19 infection, the COVID-19 epidemic has brought us in a state of war. If it has brought us in a state of war, then all of us are combatants because we are fighting a war. Fighting a war primarily for ourselves, for our organizations, and primarily for our loved ones too. And if we are combatants, then there are certain traits of a combatant. To foresee, to anticipate, to amplify. Not to allow negative thoughts to enter your mind, not to allow anything that is pessimistic to enter your mind. We will talk about this aspect later, because this is the most important aspect in this consumerist, I would say neurotic consumerist economy. There are people, even in these troubled times, who want to pass on their goods and services to us and try to push their soiled hands into our pockets and deprive us of our hard-earned money. There are fly-by-night operators who promise you the moon that they will convert a room in your house into something akin to an ICU. Don't get carried away by the smooth talk. Then there are those who are giving you potions and preparations claiming to be absolutely with magical properties. Then there are those who don particular roles and then try to advocate and peddle goods and services promoting brands that have no value whatsoever. Today, 12% of our population is suffering from levels of anxiety and stress. And in a population of 135 crores, 12% is a frightening number, a scary figure. You can do your own arithmetic. I would not like to go into details. But 12% of the population, if they are suffering from ingredients of stress, if they are suffering from anxiety, it is a matter of extreme concern. And we need to address that. First of all of us, because of the lockdown, have at some stage or the other suffered from digital dementia, an over investment on the screen time. The over investment on the screen time has resulted in digital dementia, subscribing to the fake news and the WhatsApp university, knowing you fully well that 90% of the information on WhatsApp is fake, doctored, promoted with a vested interest. We also need to understand that there are fly-by-night operators, there are crafty people, there are dishonest people who want to play with our mindset and play with a sense of security. Again, as the saying goes, that if I'm holding my mobile phone like this, it doesn't matter, I can hold it for a minute, for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, for 15 minutes. But if a simple mobile phone I was supposed to hold for 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, this is going to become heavier than a barbell in my gymnasium. Similarly, a small negative thought of my welfare and the welfare of my loved ones, of course, that is of my prime concern. But to have negative thoughts, which I'm being flooded by the social media platform, that is the cause of concern. Every time I think of something that is negative, every time I think that is negative, every thought that I have has a potential of becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. Every thought, positive or negative, has a potential of becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. Therefore, be careful of thoughts that you allow your mind, the castle of your mind, to entertain. Your mind is like a castle. Do not allow negative thoughts. Bring it a practice. Make it a practice. Make it a habit to ensure that negative thoughts have no place in the castle of your mind. Do not have the company of those who talk only of negative things. Of course, it is impossible, because over the period of time from 23rd of March this year to this date, I have seen the most positive of people turning into negative, turning into those requiring psychiatric intervention. I also have seen very well adjusted iconic couples fighting it out. And I have also very disturbing information in respect of the 3 heads of crime which have increased during the period of lockdown, and you need to be very careful. Cybercrime, and by cybercrime I say crime in respect of pornography that is injected during online classes. Cyber frauds, online frauds, domestic violence, well-adjusted couples, but perhaps the demands are so much. What was quality time became quantity time, and over a period of time, in some cases, in very exceptional cases, of course, happily, the percentage would not exceed even 0.5%, unbearable times. Children against the parents against the children, the spouses against each other. Well, that is a situation that is best avoided, but a constant self-evaluation. Am I becoming harsh? Am I becoming short-tempered? Am I becoming over-expectant? This also needs to be handled in a manner of change. And again, the qualities that you need to induct in yourself during the period of lockdown. There are a few things that will never be old-fashioned or out of fashion ever. They were never out of fashion thousands of years ago. They are fashionable today. They'll be fashionable after the lockdown. And we need to reinforce these qualities in ourselves. The first is unimpeachable integrity. I know these are difficult times, but the difficult times also have a silver lining. These difficult times have made our homes into a monastery. All of us have become minimalists. We don't go out to eat. We don't go out for picnicking. We don't go out for overseas jaunts. And of course, that's a tremendous saving. And to be a minimalist, I think, has been a blessing, but a blessing in a terrible disguise, though. But yes, we have become a minimalist. But a winner is one who says no to 99% of the things that a normal person would say, very eagerly say yes to all frivolous activities. So becoming a minimalist was not a choice. Minimalist, even though some of us had a choice, we became minimalist earlier. Those of us who were non-minimalists perhaps have become now as a matter of compulsion. But to be a minimalist and then progress further, the next attribute would be unimpeachable integrity. We have discussed, because there was a meeting of Fortune 500 companies and all the CEOs were asked, which is the single most attribute you would look for in a senior manager when you are hiring him? Guess what? Any guesses? Graduation from Harvard and Stanford? No. Engineering degree from MIT? No. Both? No. Unimpeachable integrity was the unanimous acclaim of the Fortune 500 CEOs. They wanted unimpeachable integrity from their bosses, from the top executives they wanted to hire. Unimpeachable integrity. Second is professional competence. The lockdown has given you and me and all of us ample time to hone our skills. What can we do to be the best wherever we are in these moments of change? This is not an ordinary change. A change is something that happens gradually. A change is something that may be a little drastic, but this change is nothing short of a mutation. This change is nothing short of a mutation, and this has taken the world by surprise. And this is one change that is impacting the heads of state, and it is impacting those who are in the BPL. We were thinking that what are the qualities we need to focus on to hone our skills to make the most of this drastic change. The first I said was unimpeachable integrity, and you will be respected as a person of 24 karat gold, a man of or woman of steel. Professional competence. Be the best where you are. If I joined the IPS or somebody joined in the IES and became a top executive, no mistake about it, I'm wearing certain ranks on my shoulders which I don't have the professional competence. A constable who is more professionally competent will have greater respect than me, even if I may be the DIG or the IG or the DG. But a constable or a head constable who's professionally more capable or competent will get more respect by the organization and by the people at large. Therefore, knowledge is instant global advantage. Be the best you are. And for a winner, being a lifelong learner is the entry level, is the very basic qualification. Social sensitivity. The world is changing so fast that we have to be very sensitive socially in respect of what is happening around us. The changes that are taking place, the changes in respect of gender sensitivity, the changes in respect of the weaker sections of society, the changes in respect of the various castes and community. India is a wonderful bouquet of all castes and communities. So these are the changes that we must adapt to, adopt also, and we must be a part of this vibrant, positive change and affirmative action. Then, having the servant's heart. Dominic, Mr. Ravi Shankar, and all my friends who are part of one wonderful audience occupy the highest position. God was very kind to me, and God is still very kind to me. I enjoyed the topmost offices, but I was lucky that I sat at the feet of very great leaders who said, your rank is just a significance of the number of years you have put in. But you must have a servant's heart in yourself. This servant's heart will take you to the topmost level, and God be my witness, I never encountered any obstacle in my career path. Politics is not my subject. I have never curried favor with political people. I have never what to do of doing anything that is illegal or immoral. I have not even looked at that side. But God has been kind in giving me the topmost lots unasked. If this is not a proof that an absolutely mediocre person getting the topmost levels because he has a servant's heart. It was my proud privilege to serve the largest police force in the world. But yes, I had the servant's heart. I still have the proud privilege of being a chancellor of a university with students from 27 countries. I'm proud to be one of their unworthy servants. I truly would like to advise you, if I have to give you 3 advice, I would say unimpeachable integrity. And integrity does not necessarily only mean financial uprightness and probity. Integrity is a large subject and a wide subject that needs to be covered by Mr. Ravi Shankar and Dominic at a later level at some other time. Professional competence. Be the best where you are, that you are known as a resource of your company. You're known as a resource the world over. You're known for having hands-on experience of the best practices in the world. Social sensitivity. And having mastered all these traits, we come down to how do we handle change? And there it is, action flexibility. If action flexibility is there, you are customized, you are become change proof. You will never see your Kodak moment ever, because you have customized yourself. You have customized yourself to all change because action flexibility. I start from home, go to my workplace, that this is going to be the algorithm on which I have to work. But suddenly I realize that the entire thing and the scenario has changed. The anti-riot scheme tells me to do A, B, and C, but A, B, and C are not available. Action flexibility tell me try out D, E, F. I try and do not succeed. Then I go try GHK. GHK works out fine. But if I have a tunnel vision in myself that I can only visualize and see and plan only of ABC because that is what was written in the rule book, then perhaps I am not ready to take an uncharted path, because action flexibility as an ingredient was totally missing. Therefore, this is a challenge that all of us have to take. This battle is not going to die down soon. This battle is going to be indefinitely long and drawn out. And therefore, there are certain things that you need to be healthy about. You need to be, because as Napoleon had said, that bullet has not been cast which has pierced my chest. Have that sentiment of invincibility in yourself. Have that sentiment of being unconquerable in yourself. Repeat the affirmatives. Imagine that good things are going to happen to you, because the consumerist society and the social media would like to believe bad things are going to happen to you. You are going to fall sick. I am going to fall sick. Prepare for an ICU. Prepare for oxygen concentrator. Prepare for the oximeter. It's good to be prepared for battle. And my strong advice to everyone in this audience would be, to Dominic, to Ravi Shankarji, to everyone, prepare yourself for the battle. Have a worst case scenario, but don't think for a moment that you would ever have to use it. It is better to have a gun and not to use it than to not to have a gun and then have a situation where you need to use the gun. Therefore, be fully prepared for battle. And now the thoughts that we think, our thoughts to a very great extent are governed by the books that I read, the company that I keep in. The books that I read are an extension of my personality. The company that I keep are an extension and a reflection of my personality. It's good to be surrounded by positive people like Dominic and Ravi Shankarji. It's good to be surrounded by good books. And if nothing else, humorous pictures of Charlie Chaplin and Laurel and Hardy. But never allow a negative thought even ever to enter your mind. I said before that there are disturbing news of 12% of a population being affected being impacted by negative thoughts, consequently leading to anxiety and stress. This is not a good sign. This is not a good sign. And this needs to be not to be addressed, not only to be checked, not only to be addressed appropriately, but wherever it's required to address ourselves. The body needs to be looked after. The body, of course, all of you are vibrant, so alert. You would be exercising, you would be taking supplements of probiotics, zinc, vitamin D, and whatever you require for yourself, basic exercises. The mind is the hero, and the mind is the hero because ultimately I am what my thoughts are. In spite of what the social media dictates and my company and my peer group says, we need to protect ourselves mentally. I will also share with you, I was in 2 months whether I should be sharing with you or not, but the bad news is that there has been a spike in the number of suicides and attempted suicides. This, of course, is a reflection of the stress and the anxiety levels, whereas there is no cause of such situation. We always pay a very heavy price. India's population in respect of tuberculosis, the number of deaths is a staggering 1.5 billion every year plus. It is not less than 15 lakhs. In case of road accidents, it is the price that the nation pays is almost 1,50,000 every year. COVID has already claimed around, it was 12,900 odd figures, it must have completed 13,000 figures. I don't compare the epidemic with road accidents, casualties, or the TB deaths. I have not given you figures. It is the situation. It is a cause of concern. It is a concern that we need to look after yourself. We need to address and plug in the holes wherever they are. But a combatant is one who always has a positive mindset, who always visualizes himself as a winner, always as a combatant, has the reflexes of a tiger and the eye of the eagle, always prepared for the worst case scenario. Himmate marda, madade khuda. Have the confidence of a combatant and the Almighty will help you. Carl Jung, one of the most illustrious psychoanalysts that the planet has seen, said that in 60 years of my practice in this field, I have seldom seen a person who has faith in the Almighty, and has required the services of a psychoanalyst or psychiatric intervention. It is, of course, a matter of personal choice, but there are certain things that are absolutely secular, that they do not require the presumption that I have to subscribe to a particular religious belief. It's good to have a belief, but if a person chooses to be an atheist or an agnostic, it is his choice and he or she is most welcome to it. But there are certain practices that are absolutely secular. The mind requires relaxation and the mind needs to be without fear. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, into that heaven of freedom, my father, let my country awake, as Rabindranath Tagore ji has said. And the shortest way and the best way is to often think and often do any form of meditation or prayer that my religion tells me. It may be Hindu, it may be Christian, it may be Islam. I could go on because this is one subject where I have practiced, and I feel that whoever he or she may be, if he or she subscribes to prayer, to go on that path, the Heavenly Father will never abandon you. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He leadeth me to good pastures. Come unto me, all ye that are heavy laden, and I'll give thee rest. Tat tvam asi shwet ketu. And to my Muslim friends, it is said that if you repeat the rosary of Alhamdulillah, Subhanallah, and Allahu Akbar, that has magical properties. And people whom I know and venerate are those who have practiced these practices. It's not something that I'm speaking off the hat. These are proven, but it is a matter of belief and it is a matter of practice. Those who practice ultimately, their faith, their confidence, and their comfort levels is absolutely invincible. I can guarantee and give it to you in writing. On one hand, you have a consumerist society that tells you that you have to be scared for yourself, your own safety. I would like to quote a few lines. They are in Urdu, but I would translate them for your advantage because no translation can do justice to the original. कुछ लोग तुम्हें समझाएंगे, कुछ लोग तुम्हें समझाएंगे. People will try to beguile you. वो तुमको खौफ दिखलाएंगे, वो तुमको खौफ दिखलाएंगे. They will try to scare you. जो है वो भी खो सकता है. What you have can also go away. कुछ और यहां हो सकता है, कुछ और यहां हो सकता है. Something more or something worse can happen. Now this is the reply of you youngsters to such a negative sentiment. कुछ और यहां अक्सर होता है. Something like this has happened in the past and it is likely to happen in the future. कुछ और यहां हो सकता है, कुछ और यहां हो सकता है. तुम जिस लम्हे में हो, तुम जिस लम्हे में जिंदा हो, the moment in which you are existing, वो लम्हा तुमसे जिंदा है. That moment is alive because of you. This time is because of you. वो लम्हा तुमसे जिंदा है. ये वक्त फिर कभी नहीं आएगा. This time will never come again. तुम अपनी करनी कर गुजरो, तुम अपनी करनी कर गुजरो. You do what is expected of you too. तुम अपनी करनी कर गुजरो, जो होगा देखा जाएगा. What will happen? I will deal with you. Now my sword is out of the scabbard. क्या सताएगी शिद्दत प्यास की मुझे, पत्थर से पानी निचोड़ने का हुनर जानता हूं मैं. How can thirst and material infirmities impact me? The Almighty has given me the capacity to extract water by crushing stones from my fist. Self-confidence is the essence of heroism. Wherever you are, my dear friends, you are in a position of authority. When you speak, when you act, make no mistake about it, that your children, your loved ones, your colleagues are looking at you. And the smallest hint at hesitation is nothing short of an unmitigated disaster. The smallest hint of being weak is showing disaster. With a small narrative, I will tell you and end my interaction. We had a very fierce encounter in Uttar Pradesh when I was the Director General of Police, and things were so bad that we had 4 casualties in the police department. I airlifted 2 brave officers, Sushil Kumar Singh and V.K. Gupta, by helicopter from Lucknow to Chitrakoot to take on the battle. They were very brave officers, and they went, neutralized the gangsters. And since I did not hear from them for a very long time, maybe for 4 hours, I called up V.K. Gupta. I asked V.K. Gupta, how are you, Gupta? How are you doing? I did not hear from you. I got the good news from the news channels that you have been able to neutralize the gangsters. Yes, sir, I'm fine. I'm okay. But both Sushil Kumar Singh and I have gunshot and bomb splinters in our lower abdomen. The intestines are coming out. We are in the chopper now. We have put the towel in the abdomen to stop the bleeding and put the intestines. We have pushed the intestines inside with our own hands. But everything is fine. The pain is there. And one small request, sir, that in case Sushil and I die, please look after the families. So in the face of the biggest calamity, in face of imminent death, you have the fortitude and the courage to face the ultimate and yet have the confidence not to be shaky, but to be brave and look adversity in the eye. This is expected of men and women of steel. And I'm sure all of you are. And with God's grace, you were successful, you are successful, and you will always be successful. May God always bless your path. Thank you very much. Now, Dominic and Ravi Shankar ji, if there are any questions and I can take them with your permission, I'd be delighted to.